Let me guess, you're constantly trying to speed tune your champions, speed tune your teams, but also your entire account. And you probably have some scribbled notes like I do of all the speeds of your champions. What I've done for you guys today is a spreadsheet with all my core champions broken down for everything that I'm currently doing in the game. And perhaps we can expand on this to have even more information. It'll be up to you guys to let me know if you want more. So let's jump right in. So before we get to the actual spreadsheet, this major spreadsheet with a ton of information right now, I just want to point something out. If you guys go on my YouTube channel, you can punch in on this little search icon right here. Let's say record, for example, right? So if you would want to see my, let's say, dungeon records or some of the Doom Tower records, my fastest Ice Golem team, they're all there. It's on my YouTube channel. You can check out these builds. Also, the clan boss, same thing. It is there. You can write clan boss, hit that little search button, and you are going to get all these videos that are going to come out, right? So for example, this was my previous build. Eventually, I reached a 2-key Ultra Nightmare, and then recently, I just did my first unkillable team. You can also do this for the Doom Tower, by the way. So if you want to look at my current teams, the builds, so everything I'm going to talk about today, we're not going to cover the entire gear. We're going to cover the highlight of the speed tuning. The spreadsheet will evolve over time, but I just want to make sure you guys understand that if you want the rest of the information, it's already on the YouTube channel. Now let's go check it out. And we're going to start with an example, which is my previous clan boss build. So I'm talking about 3 weeks ago. I kind of just presented this, but this was my attempt to go into a full auto clan boss team to reach 2-key Ultra Nightmare, and I had accomplished this with Iron Brago, 2 ally protection champs, Rosin Scarhide, and Bad Alcazar. So what I've done in the spreadsheet, watch out, here it comes. Oh boy, yeah, I know. Okay, it's maybe not that crazy, but it'll look better over time. For now, all I wanted to have for you guys is at least these values, all right? So I broke down the speed of each of these 5 champions for this to work on auto, and yes, there is 1 extra champion in there. That is because I typically would use Martyr in place of Rosin for the Spirit's affinity. But overall, these were the exact speeds, and then you have a min-max. So the way to read this spreadsheet is basically what it says here is priority, all right? If it's a 2, it means it's not my current team. This is actually my secondary team now, and I've tried to keep this team working for eventual more content on my account. And then you would have all the way up here the location or the use. Basically, clan boss is number 1. Some of these champions might be reused as is for something else, and I think that is going to be one of the crucial takeaway from this spreadsheet, is that when I build a champion and I speed tune, I always try to make sure that I can do more than one thing. I don't want to have to keep re-gearing my champions. Now let's check out my latest clan boss team, which is finally this so-called unkillable team. I have a build video on this. Again, I'm not going to cover the gear, but instead I want to quickly talk about the speeds of these champions. You can go check out the Deadwood Jedi calculator. This is not a replacement for that. Instead, this is just a quick breakdown of what it looks like on my account. All right, so we do have Warcaster, Seeker, Fane. I could use a Septimus. I called him Septimus A, but I also use Septimus for something else. So you will see Septimus again in this spreadsheet, but it is going to be the B version with a different speed. Roshgard, and then Krila and Doom Priest for the Spirit Affinity. Use clan boss priority number 1, which means when I'm going to gear these champions, or when I'm looking for gear, these champs get the best gear automatically. Right, so I'm trying to speed tune number 1, but I'm also trying to improve their stats overall, offensive stats. So eventually what you're going to see here from the equipment, if you guys want to see this here broken down as well, is what they wear in each of these slots and how exactly it is impacting my account. Let's continue with my 4 dungeon teams for speed run. So here is the dragon. You will see a whole lot of Renegade, Lydia, and Seer in this. Then we have the Ice Golem in 37 seconds. This is very inconsistent. I don't always use this one, but when I'm trying to go really fast, this would be my go-to. And then we have down here for the Fire Knight, 2 Cold Hearts, Renegade, Lydia, and Seer again. And then finally for the Spider Dungeon, we have the Battle, Khazar, Gurptuk, Septimus, Royal Guard, and then Lydia yet again. So how does that look on the spreadsheet? Here it is right there. If you want to replicate those exact teams to get those run times, which is all in the range of 35 seconds, except for the Spider, which is even faster, close to about 11 seconds, this is what you would have to use on your account. All right, so what we see now here on the right hand side is that we're starting to get more use out of these champions. So for example, Lydia is obviously in all dungeons, but she's also in basically all my Doom Tower runs, right? So she works as is for this. Obviously there's some crucial stats you want to hit, except from speed. We will do this eventually. Then we have the Seer, for example. She needs to be tuned for this Dungeons, Doom Tower, Renegade, Cold Heart number 1, Cold Heart number 2, Gurptuk in A form or Gurptuk in B form. This is one of the examples of what I said, that the speeds might differ quite a bit depending on the dungeon. So for example, for the Spider Dungeon, it needs to be roughly at 174 or between 170 and 193. But then, for example, you would have Gurptuk on the Ice Golem. He needs to be really, really slow. Therefore, I got to play around with some gear. You want to try and minimize your silver cost by only having to change, let's say 2 pieces to swap between these 2 speeds. All right, so this is another aspect of the spreadsheet, is to help you guys plan ahead of time so you can save your resources. Let's keep going with the final example for today, which is my arena team. We have Arbiter, Harvest Jack, Torment, and Foley. I've been using this for a very long time. I could sometimes replace my Torment with, let's say, a Mountain King when I need to do sort of like advanced quests or whatever. So I'm going to modify this every now and then, but overall, when I'm on the defense and I want to put my full team, this is my go-to team. All right, so this I have as well broken down for you guys here on the spreadsheet. Now this one's a little bit more interesting in the sense that the speed, the current speed, there's no cap on it. I'm basically saying Arbiter, mine is at 347. I'm saying a minimum of about 300 for, let's say, gold 4 right now. Maybe it has increased since the bots have disappeared, but overall I'm also saying, you know, uncapped. Just keep going with Arbiter. You're never going to have enough. Same thing with your Harvest Jack. In this case, he's my dedicated crowd control champ, so I always want to be sure I am within that range of my Arbiter so that nobody can cut in. Therefore, I'm also saying sort of like uncapped, but there is a minimum for me to be within that range. And then Torment, same thing, sort of like I want to be sure that I'm within the next 15% turn meter reduction of my Harvest Jack so that I can go into more crowd control and finally to hit my nuker, which is Foley for the time being. Now, I also have other champions here in this category that I started putting in. I recently worked on Countess Lix as another sort of crowd control champ. She could very well, let's say, replace my Harvest Jack. I also have Astralon as a dedicated nuker. He's not as fast, but he's not my priority number 1 either. So again, I will fill out this spreadsheet a little bit more over time. All right, so here's what this looks like when I have everything enabled for you guys and all the priorities. Okay, so they are all there. So here we go. These are all the current speeds. So call this a cheat sheet, whatever you guys want to call it, but this is a working model for an end game account to do everything in the game as quickly as possible. Basically just my own account with my champion. So if you want a reference point, here it is. I do want to have your feedback on this. Would you like to see more information? Would you like to see the step above all this, which is Doom Tower and obviously the faction wars, everything broken down, and then everything broken down for the equipment slots, or at least the important ones like gloves, chest, boots, amulet, banner, and then the overall sets I would recommend for these champions, so that hopefully along with this and let's say my Doom Tower teams spreadsheet or even the faction wars team spreadsheet, you guys will now have a complete picture of my account as it is as of today. So do let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you've learned a little something today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.